This show contains adult humor and authentic, offensive gamer language. It is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised, and if you find yourself aroused, don't forget to subscribe.
Monday, you are listening and or watching Ponecast. This is episode 92, and we are in patch 6.2.3. I am your Warlock host, Belle. Tonight, we're going to be talking about all new Legion things. We got changes with the Herbalism profession, and I'm talking about picking the herbs, not smoking the herbs, new class titles to come, and some gripes about the Warcraft commercial during the football game. So we're going to be talking about that and much, much more, so make sure you guys stay right here.
In the World of Warcraft trade chat, troll-based offenses are considered especially heinous. In Azeroth, the dedicated players who call out these asshats are members of an elite squad known as the Ponecast Podcast. These are their stories.
Guys, we are down Bloke this week, in case you haven't noticed. We did trade in the Australian for the Canadian. We don't even know, he's off searching the sea with Ariel and crabs and whatever other weird shit Bloke does when he's not here. There's the Invasion Day or something. I don't know if he was joking when he said that. I don't know much about Australian stuff, but it's some type of... I asked him if it was Independence Day. He said it was Independence Day with Vegemite. So don't really know what that means, but he's off doing the family...
Did they lose a war to the mermaids too?
Yeah, I don't really know what they do, but that's apparently what's...
I thought it was just the emus.
Apparently mermaids are a thing too.
He's gonna kill us one of these days. We're gonna be dead because he's gonna be like, I'm sick of these bucks. But we do have a pretty good episode, and I did bring everybody else with me. I did bring the Death Knight who spent all of Ashran bleeding on the ground to like it.
I thought it would be bad. I wanted to get geared up. I tried to, and I was doing it with... What was I doing it with?
Not me.
Definitely wasn't you. I was doing it with somebody, and it was just going horribly. And, it was Get Bed, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And we were trying to go to DKs, and that just wasn't pretty. So I said, I'll go to Ashran and see how it was. And I tried to get in a Nemesis group, or Avengers group, rather, and I sat there for 45 minutes to be seated. Never got in. And, I mean, I can't hold nothing against them. The group sounded like it was going perfect. I did everything I was supposed to. But I finally just left, and I walked into Ashran, and I spent most of my time either laying on the ground or rezzing at the damn spirit healers. And
Is that what you would call a bloody DK?
It would be.
Business as usual.
Are we going to start all over again? That's fine. But no, it was a rough weekend. I did finally get all honor geared at least, because I thought it would be bad for the RBG team leader to tell everybody to be at least honor geared and not have all the pieces. I don't think that would have went over too well.
I mean, you're the boss, so you could technically do whatever the fuck you want. What are they going to do, fire you?
I could. I'm going to go my PvE gear, then.
You could randomly get kicked off, potentially.
It's not as bad as raiding in Argent Crusade gear, so... No, we've had somebody do that
Bloke
before.
did do that. It was awful. Yeah. What a nub.
I know.
I did also bring the Boomkin. The Boomkin who sleeps on his nice little My Little Pony pillowcase, right? Isn't that what you got recently? Am I accurate in that?
So my girlfriend thought it'd be a funny joke to send me a My Little Pony's case, and she was like, it's just a joke. You don't have to do anything with it. And I was like, joke's on you. And it's actually a pillow back there now. Because, like, I'm not sure, what am I going to do with it? Like, I opened it because I was, like...
It had Hello Kitty wrapping. How could you not open it?
Well, exactly. So I opened it. I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, re-gift someone an open pillowcase? Because that'd be really... I swear it's not used, you know? Like, I didn't drool on it or anything. Like,
She sent me a birthday gift, and he got some crap, too. She also sent me, like, a thing, like a shirt over... like a knitted something, which I love you, Angie, but I don't wear that shit, but thank you. And she sent me yoga pants, epic camel toe yoga pants, but they're cute yoga pants, so I'm going to wear them. But she did send me, this is happening, guys, this is happening. So for all of you who don't want your ears to hurt, you might want to plug them because I'm getting ready to hit the play button so you guys can see this adorableness. So if you guys are listening or watching at home, you might want to move or turn down the volume because it's going to get really loud. But I'm going to do it right now. Ready? I love it. I love that everybody is dancing. I'm definitely going to need to get extra batteries because I push that button every 5 minutes and it puts me in a total good mood. That's how Hot's got his sheet or his pillowcase.
It's like the trinket that makes everyone dance.
The gift that just keeps on giving because it's pretty fucking legit. Hots wants to kill me. It's Hot Shots. We're changing his name officially.
Hot Shots.
His guildmaster requested that we change it to Hot Shots. Hot Shots Part 2, right? Who's a fan? Yeah. We did also bring the monk who falls asleep during twos and gets his partner killed. Jimmabanks.
Yeah, thank you for having me back. Shout out to my twos partner, Donovan. It was a struggle. We're not really the best comp. Yeah. Poor guy for me, too, sometimes, but we get along great, and thanks for running with me, bud.
He's probably never going to run with you ever again because you were sleeping half the time.
I was late.
And you're the healer. You can't sleep and be the heals, man.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
He wonders why I don't do twos with him.
I'm legit. You watch.
His mom says he's awesome. Leave him alone.
She does, actually. She's my #1 fan.
I can't even deal with it. I feel like it's not appropriate, but I love it. Well, we're glad you're... seems like we like you enough to bring you back. I mean, you have a snapback on, so is that the snapback?
This is the snapback that we met in, actually, so got a lot of value.
That's where the love affair began, with the snapback, I imagine. And your team is doing well then.
Team, yeah, 8-game winning streak.
Is there anyone else up there to do it?
NBA, we're all in the same league.
Are they playing anybody? Or is
Okay. It's just like 2 teams that say Canada. They just play each other for charity.
Can't even. If you're Canadian, I apologize, but he's Canadian and he's making fun of you guys.
She doesn't. Don't accept the apology.
I know. I don't really mean it at all.
It's customer service. I'm sorry to hear that.
So they've removed another achievement. Gloria the Pandarian Raider. They took out. It's getting hot in here as a requirement to complete the achievement. In case you don't know, you have to have the entire raid do /dance after being hit by pillage, and I'm not going to even say who you're supposed to dance with because it's just going to embarrass me further on my vocabulary, so we'll just know that you don't have to do the thing to get the thing anymore. Lycan made a good point pre-show about making it where people can solo this shit, but I think you should have to bring a friend, maybe, but I mean...
I don't have friends.
I know, but I feel like, I don't know.
She knows. You have friends. No, I know. You don't have friends.
No, what about the people that had to do this shit in real life just to get it? Now it just negated all their hard work.
No.
Right? It totally does. 100%.
Not necessarily, because right now there's no way to go back and get that. You're never going to find a 10-man group to go back and get it. I had to pull to just get, 3 people to come up and do Shaw of Fear Heroic. And it was like pulling teeth to get them to come in and do a 5-second kill. And to try to get 10 of them to come over, or 9 more people to come up and do a Pandaren raid that nobody wants to do because they spent so many months in these raids, never going to happen. Even through Raid Finder.
Who compensates the people that had to do this to get this achievement? Where's...
Won't they keep it as a feat of strength? Don't they just get a feat of strength?
Mm-mm.
No? I feel like it's unfair for the people who had to do this. Now, somebody had commented on the episode when we talked about this before, and they're like, well, you don't even know what the achievement is, and you're complaining about it. You're right, I don't know what the fucking achievement is because I don't do them.
I got 25-man Lich King.
I don't have to do them to know that it's frustrating for those that did do them and complete them.
Not necessarily. I did 25-man Heroic Lich King at content, which was one of the hardest fights at the time. I mean, it was a bitch. And... when I see people walking around with lighted on titles, I'm like, oh, when'd you get your title? Oh, I got it last week. I'm like, congrats. I'm really excited for him. Still doesn't take away from me going, oh, I did it during content.
It does, though.
No, not necessarily. I know that it does it. I'm not like one of them elites that get all upset and butthurt when they take realm first things out of the game. But,
for instance, my Warlock stuff, I don't think they should have nerfed it, and they did. I got a title that nobody else, if you did it after, you didn't get, of the Black Harvest. And that's all great. And yeah, I get bragging rights saying it took me, 47 wipes to be able to get my green fire. But now every Tom, Dick, and Schmuck Warlock is getting the green fire with the greatest of ease. They didn't have to work for it. Yes, I get it. They don't get the title. And I think that's, that's great that they did make that separation. And that's what I would like to see in these instances where they're taking stuff out. Is there something that you can do to distinguish the players that did it when they should have versus the players that are just doing it now solo-wise? I guess, is there any kind of balance or happy medium that we could have? Because it does essentially, even your hard work, though. So-and-so gets it yesterday, and you had to work really, really hard to get that. Where's the differentiating factor besides you knowing that you got it, right?
Right. Even with I know one of the more challenging ones as a guild I ever did was Siege of Orgrimmar, 25-man heroic. And I know 257 wipes. It took us 257 tries to finally get that fucker down on heroic. But again, I see everybody else walking around with the titles and the mounts, and it doesn't bother me. I like the idea.
You got the head of the curve, right? Wasn't that a thing? That was
you do get the head of the curve now. Same thing. Well, yeah, they had it with those ones back then as well. So you have the head of the curve achievement. It was 100% guaranteed mount drop at the time. Now it is not. Now it's a 0.1%.
0.1%.
Which is fine. Like I said, those little things are fine. It doesn't matter to me.
Right? Be different.
Right.
Jim, do you care about any of these? Do you do those achievements?
I know
you're
different.
PvP.
Yeah,
I knew you were going to say
I
I'm
was
different.
waiting. Shout out to Dwight. I did a little heroic rating for Siege when it was current. I would like to go back. I just don't have. I'm like Lycan with no friends, right? So now that I'm getting to know the guild,
That's
and maybe
because
some
you're
people.
falling asleep during twos. Nobody wants to be friends with that guy.
It took us forever to get some of the wins. It shouldn't have taken that long.
Too funny.
You kind of yes and no. Not lately. I haven't been no.
So you don't feel any kind of way? I mean, I know Hots probably feels some kind of way because he's the lead. So certainly, you don't feel any kind of way? Are you drunk?
No, what it is to me is if you didn't get it at content, or getting something at content and running around with an achievement or amount from getting all the achievements at content, that has its own little bragging rights. But after the expansion, even if you were to go back and get it with the full man group, it's still nowhere. It's not going to be anywhere as hard as it was. So why not make it soloable?
That's valid. You actually probably just changed my mind on how I feel about that. Hots, congratulations.
And I'm going to throw this in there too, and this is not a dig at anyone because I did the same thing with mine. It would be just like getting carried for the moose mount.
I sure did get motherfucking carried. Now I don't give a goddamn.
Yeah, I had somebody on Real ID that said, "Hey, by the way, we're doing a moose mount. Come do it now." I was not raiding with a guild that was downing Arkham on heroic, and I jumped on my tune. We went in, we downed him. I got my mount. So it's really no different than somebody who worked their ass off.
I definitely don't brag about my head of the curve.
Curve
achievement because I got carried. I stood there. I mean, I did the mechanics. I didn't have to die or anything, but I mean, I did. Obviously, I didn't do the DPS they were doing because those fucks are mythic rating people. But here's the thing about that, though. I was very proud of my carry. I don't care. I am not ashamed to say I got carried because I have a beautiful moose mount. And to me, it's not. I know it's probably more rewarding for those that didn't get carried, so I'm sure it probably. But Hots, you did kind of make me change my mind on how I feel about that. No matter what, it was never going to be as hard as it was going to be, and people were going to go back and do it anyway, so why not take out something and allow it to be soloable for the next expansion? My hat's off to you. I don't think anybody's ever, in mid-show, successfully made it where I took back what I said.
I've seen a few. I just don't have
I've
been watching for a long time. I'll still never, it's kind of on topic, but off topic. I'll never forgive the off-tank that stood and stuff to cancel out my Undying title for Naxxramas. I know. It was and we never went back and did it, and it was just...
Have you hated him forever then?
I don't know who he is to hate him. He's just some off-tank paladin that was a friend of a friend that just stood and stuff at the very last boss.
You're the off-tank paladin that cost him his title. You should consider your life choices.
I have a warrior that would be mine that pulled 2 frames per second every fight, and we could never get it because of the Thaddeus or whatever, the swap one. He would always lag, and he would arc and hit someone with the wrong sign. So
I'm always the one that doesn't necessarily follow conventional mechanics per se. if there's an impalement happening and I should be moving to not get impaled, odds are I'm going to be impaled. And if my husband's dog keeps barking, I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to strangle her. Literally, that's what's going to happen, folks. And I've texted him about 12 times, please get his dog.
I totally thought you were going to say impel her, but...
No. Also, Tabard of the Argent Dawn. Players who have completed the achievement are now able to repurchase the tabard from the tabard vendors. I know that this just happened in a recent hotfix. I don't know if it was there and then removed. I just know that it was in the hotfix notes, and I know that there's a lot of you that had to do things to be able to get that tabard. So you can repurchase it from the tabard vendor and be happy about your life with your Argent Dawn tabard. You know, I talk a lot of crap about a lot of people, but I always give Wowhead their due for the stuff that they accomplish as far as helping players, right? I don't like their guides particularly because they're kind of cookie cutter guides. They're not really built for, the most help I get is out of the comments from the people who have done it on Wowhead, right? They give you all the hacks and all. So it's the people. All of you guys that are commenting on Wowhead and you're improving Wowhead via the comments, you guys really are fucking stellar and stand up to me. But occasionally Wowhead does something that I really appreciate and I think is good for the players outside of all the data mining they do. They just launched their advanced transmog system, which when you're wearing a certain piece, it gives you featured recommendations based off certain items that you're wearing.
Well, that's cool.
To me, that's pretty legit because I'm a mogger, right? I know that there's an in-game thing that does it. I know about all the things that help you do that, but Wowhead stepped up their game and it pulls live from the database. So you're not dealing with an add-on that you have to update. You can go right to their thing and it's live from the database because Wowhead's Skynet of World of Warcraft, basically. So make sure you guys go check that out. Have you guys seen that?
No, it's news to me.
It's freaking nifty.
It is.
Pretty, and their model viewer is pretty legit. They're 3D. You get to rotate. Occasionally, I try to look up Belle's skirt to see what's happening.
You don't want to see what's under there.
Just want to see what she's you've never done it, and I'm the only one.
No.
I'm the only one.
I haven't.
I'm the only one.
I have not looked up Belle's skirt. I'm sorry.
You've never looked up your own turn, in model viewer? You've never, rotated just to see what's going on?
I'm a dog. I know what's underneath of that.
When I was 12, I paused Street Fighter 2 for Chun-Li. Does that count?
Now I just got awkward. I'm pretty sure you're probably not the only one, actually.
Yeah.
You're probably not the only one. Hots will like this one. Challenge mode gear will be account-wide for transmogging. How you like them fucking apples?
I actually appreciate that because I've understood why you should go through and get it on each tune and all that. That's a hassle.
But you can't anymore, can you? You can't get the mop ones.
But if you've already had it, it'll be account wide in Legion.
Yeah.
It'll be in your little your clothing, your wardrobe area, the new wardrobe area that they have. So you'll be able to transmog it on your tunes that can wear that gear. Yeah, account wide.
Yeah.
Cool.
So if you have another tune that can wear that gear, you can transmog it.
Hots, do you have more than one outfit? Did you just do it on your one tune, or did you complete it on multiple?
No, I didn't do it in mob. I pushed it off until the end, and whenever the end came, I was just like,
But you did it this expansion?
Yeah, I've done it this expansion, so the weapons and everything like that, I could see why you would want to make that account-wide. And with the new transmogging system, it'd be kind of hard to not make it account-wide.
Awesome. So, class-specific titles. Excited about this. One of the examples is for completing the artifact questline for Rogue Master Assassins, the title. They're going to be doing this for all the class and specs. I think that's pretty fucking amazing, personally. Pretty happy with that. So, yeah. Wonder what everybody's, what do you think everybody's titles are going to be? Because I only seen the one, so I don't know.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to list off a couple.
That was the only one I seen.
DK is Numbers Chaser.
No, those are just for the elitists, but they haven't figured out how to work that onto the Battle.net accounts. So.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I'm getting all my news 2 days early. I usually have to wait for the episode to load. I get it right now. I like it.
Exciting, right?
Yeah. Sorry, Hots, go ahead.
All right, so I really want to know if they're going to be class-specific or they're going to be spec-specific, because Master Assassin sounds like it would be for an assassin rogue. Why would I want Starcaller on a Resto Druid,
I'm pretty sure it would be spec specific. I can't
Well, with
imagine.
That was pretty good, actually. I think they probably will.
I would like to see Belle the Destructor, right?
Do it
No,
does that have to be
too much?
Destructor?
No,
It could be
that's
Destructor. Like, I mean, like, but if we're gonna have spec specific weapons, why make class specific titles? So
Belle
that's
the John Cena of Warcraft. Is that a thing? I can't do. I knew you were.
Oh, no, that would be a rogue thing. You know, see me.
Fucking kidding me. Where is
But-
Murky? If Murky were here, John Cena.
I think we all know where Murky is right
We
now.
do all know. Murky, if you're
Shout out to
watching, I love
Murky.
you, bud. Shout out to Murky and the Murky.
Bacon wrapped blank.
You know, you can have Starcaller right now on a feral.
Yeah, I
pet.
have it on a tune.
yeah, no, I know. I was just making an example. Like I was
I have
pulling a title.
You
yeah,
would want
I
it
do
to
too.
be
I
spec
was just
specific to, you
like-
don't want some random bullshit, I would imagine,
Yeah.
assassin. I'm hoping that that's the case. Arguably, I didn't do a lot of research on this specific instance. I don't really know that was readily available, or maybe it was.
Like, there's really the only two I could think of right now that they're actually in game that I use depending on my spec are Blood Champion for my Blood DK, and you get that from that pit arena thing up in the Grand.
Oh,
And
I
I
like
use
that.
Champions of the Frozen Waste on my Frost just because it matches. But I would love to find something a little bit better.
I
Less
use
suitable,
the Black Harvest because I want people to know. I want people to know where I got my thing and that I'm amazing. Hang on, I'm looking it up for you guys right now.
That's funny.
They are spec specific.
Okay.
So you've got like Death Lord, Illidari Master, High Lord for Paladins. Yeah, it is. There's previously added. Oh yeah. Ooh. That's
Neato.
exciting. So yeah, no, it's definitely going to be spec specific. So good situation there. I'm glad
I rock
Glad I checked.
Zookeeper to make sure everyone knows that I catch pets.
I do that for my hunter.
Do you catch and release? You just keep them because you're greedy.
No, I just keep the one, and then everything else, we release safely back into the wild.
My daughter thought this was a pumpkin, and I'm like, it's an apple. And she's like, no, it's a pumpkin, and I'm like, no, it's an apple.
what if it's a pumpkin inside of an apple?
It was literally a 20-minute discussion. I'm like, it's an apple. It's not a pumpkin.
It's definitely an apple.
It's definitely an apple.
Hey, Hodge, you need to do me a favor.
yeah.
Find that cup for me and mail it to me.
You're a terrible person. I had a
Mail it to
meltdown.
me.
I destroyed my whole
Last
kitchen.
time
I
I
tried.
thought I was in prison. That cup went missing because I came in like tore my room. Cup check.
Maybe you should
Like-
move whenever you move your stuff staticky. Maybe you should not chicken head. Maybe just sit still.
Can you describe to me what prison activities happened when she found out her cup was
I was
missing?
so upset.
Oh,
I woke up the whole house. Literally, everybody was sleeping. I woke up the whole house. I tore my whole kitchen apart. I had the kids go door to door in everybody's bedroom to see if somebody had the cup. Literally, I had a fucking full-on meltdown. It was awful.
Where was it?
My sister took it. She thought it was going to be a funny joke. She was like, "Oh, I thought it was funny, haha." I'm like, "Oh, you fucking think it's funny, really? You think this shit's funny? I'm on my way to get my fucking cup." And I drove to her house, which is like 45 minutes away, and I got the fucking cup.
Did you just walk in, grab it, and walk out? Like,
No,
bah!
her boyfriend like had a face like, "Sorry, we thought you were gonna laugh," and I'm like, "Don't ever touch my shit again."
Mail it to me.
And
I will pay you.
my niece said, "That's not even your cup. That's my mom's cup." And I'm like, first of all, I stole this from your mother 7 years ago. After the first year, that means it's mine, right? Possession is 9/10 of my law.
Okay, good job.
Warcraft movie commercial. So I did play during the football games. Everybody was really super excited and all these things. I just have one small complaint, and I want to see who's with me. So it was intended to be a commercial. I totally get it. So before I get comments that say it was supposed to be a commercial, blah, 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 I feel like they're trying to reach a different audience, right? That's why they're doing it during random things, right? Makes perfect sense. Let's see who we can bring in that's not already a Warcraft gamer. It was so lackluster, the scenes that they chose, the way that they laid them together. I felt like it should have been more epic, right? You're introducing this to a different genre of people who might not already be into this fantasy game that we play. And really, that was the commercial you chose. You chose that less epic version of even some of the more epic scenes. That was kind of, I don't know if maybe it was me being overly critical because I hype it up so much in my mind already. I just felt like we kind of got the Walmart version instead of the, the Sears version, right? Am I the only one who felt that
Those are
way?
your comparisons. I don't know. I didn't think about it until you brought it up, actually.
Did you rewatch it?
Not since. Go ahead, Lycan.
I just watched it again.
Do you feel what I'm saying? They
As a war guy, yes. It was
so many
very
more things
boring.
to pull somebody in, right? I want
Right.
to see. Give me all the reasons why somebody should go watch this movie if they're not a Warcraft player.
But that's the thing. You can't get that. You can't get out of that mindset of being a Warcraft player, knowing what this movie's. First of all, this movie's been rumored or in production for how long now?
Fucking
4,
since
5,
the
6 years?
1980s, I'm sure.
Right. We're sitting there going, okay, when's the movie? When's the movie? And now that we're finally getting to the movie, and we've seen the behind the scenes stuff, and we've seen the leaked trailers and the stuff they showed at BlizzCon, we know how epic this movie has its potential. And what they showed here, yeah, it's not even close to
And if you're
some of the
somebody,
better
like,
ones.
if you didn't know anything about World of Warcraft, that doesn't feel like it's enough to make somebody want to go see it. This is, of course, just my opinion. It doesn't mean I'm right. It just means, like, I felt like, yes, we got the great version, right? We got the full trailer because that's, we're the gamers. But I feel like they should have even went above and beyond that, maybe, or maybe highlighted different, elements of it to really make people go, I need to go to the fucking theater and I need to see this thing right now. How do I get there? Dash linked a Mrs. Doubtfire, a scary trailer for Mrs. Doubtfire where it portrayed him as a crazy. It was quite terrifying. But I felt like that was more dramatic than this because I feel like the scenes that they chose just could have been, I don't know, I feel like I'm being hypercritical.
No, I think you're right. Like, it's your opinion. We might even need to just ask people who don't play Warcraft what they thought of the trailer.
I think you're right about that. If you're watching this and you clearly, you either play or you just really like to watch Lycan's beard, but maybe you guys can give me your opinions. I know we're all going to say it's awesome because we don't like to say bad things, and I'm not saying it wasn't awesome, but I'm saying, do you feel like the scene selection that they chose maybe could have been some more epic, some more in your face, explain why people who are not maybe gamers should go and watch this? Give me your opinion. Comment on the show. Tell me why.
Julio had a decent point too, and maybe they're going to have other trailers, and of course you're buying a slot of time.
True.
So even though those ones weren't as great, maybe the next one will be the other scenes that we want to see.
Maybe
I don't
leading
know.
up to, maybe they'll do a Super Bowl thing, right? And it'll be epic. It'll be all the things that I want it to be in my heart. Maybe you're right about that. That's another good, solid point. Julio does make great points. He's
nice guy.
He's the man. Sometimes Duncan Jones tweeted. And let me tell you this tweet story because it's hilarious. So Duncan Jones tweets these pictures of scenes from Stormwind, and I'm in the bathroom and I'm doing my effective toilet time. And Bloke sends a text message to our group chat and says, he links the tweet, and I'm like freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, I got to get here now so that I can zoom in on the picture. Like I'm literally wigging shit. And I go and do the thing. And I post them and I go look, and I'm going to describe, in case you live on a different planet and have not seen these images that were posted on Twitter. But the one is of the Heroes Call board, and I'm trying to make it bigger here so that I can. There were some points that I wanted to touch on. I guess it's not going to let me make it bigger. They have the Dark Moon Fair, and they have the
Hogger.
Have the Hogger Wanted. All the elements that you would expect to see on a Stormwind board are here.
Brewfest.
Yep, they do have Brewfest. What else is on there?
There's a Kobold on there, and I don't know if it says something about take candle underneath it, but it does say have the Kobolds holding the candle like this.
And it's got the fishing extravaganza, which I dig because that happens all the time, and I think it's iconic. And they've got a Stormwind guard. I don't know if he's intended to be laying against that post, wrapped in a shroud of sorts, but I really, really dig the vibe. And the other one, where did I click off on it? I did. It won't let me make it bigger. Maybe I got to go to Twitter. You guys see the large version? I'm trying to read. I did it on my phone so that I could super zoom into my face so that I could read. Pretty sure it's in front of the Herbalist, the Woe Side Inn. It's in front of the, the Woad site in. It's in front of the Herbalist, I think. Is the Herbalist in?
This actually looks like it's in Old Town.
I thought so, and it's an Herbalist clearly because of all the potted plants and stuff in the front. I did think that was what that was. Maybe somebody can help shed some light. I did link it nicely for you gentlemen, in case you hadn't saw. But I feel like it's the Woad site in, and it definitely there's the butcher. The butcher is hysterical. It is the Herbalist because there's an herb, not that kind of herb, weirdos. Don't get excited, all you.
You never know.
All you.
To each their own, right?
To each their own.
Right.
But yeah, those pictures. I felt like he's very, very into the teasings, right? He's going to tease us with these scenes, which I really want to go there. Can they just make this land real? Is this ever going to be a thing? Do you think this movie could get so big that we could have an amusement park? Right?
I would give up going to BlizzCon just to go.
Watch your mouth, don't you?
But to go to a World of Warcraft amusement park.
Are we going again to BlizzCon?
Oh, for sure.
I just got approval from the better half to go. Mrs. Lakin said I can go this year.
We're gonna get you some type of a fast apparatus.
A fast apparatus?
Yeah, we're gonna turbo boost. We're gonna turbo boost a go-kart or something for you.
I have to try to. I'm gonna have to try to get a free rascal by then. So I got my free rascal.
Yeah, but we wanna turbo boost that shit, right? Because you don't want to do like 4 miles an hour down. Like you're trying to get around and go and do things.
Oh yeah, get one of those.
Yeah.
The Stormwind guard sitting on the ground in front of it.
Isn't that cool? I mean, I feel like you should be standing like you're seriously, you're a fucking guard. You're guarding my king. Can you please do the thing with the stuff and the people? No, I totally feel like that's agreeable. That he should be standing and not sleeping. Maybe he was on break.
I would say with the rest of the guys out in the back right hand corner, it looks like they may have just gotten back from something. Yeah. Like a deployment. They just looks like they're just in town and they're just exhausted because you kind of see the other guys in their background laying their head down on the table and everything.
I think this would be really cool to have instead of the Darkmoon Fair at BlizzCon. Have like different props and everything, and have like Stormwind or Orgrimmar or whatever like main city. Like keep the props and everything. That way each year, instead of having the Darkmoon Fair, you could have a major city that is portrayed in the movie, and then just kind of cycle it through.
They're not going to get rid of the Darkmoon Fair. Did you see that cash grab this year? Did you see how many people were spending mad money buying them little pog things?
Oh,
ridiculous.
Yeah. I like pogs.
Yeah, but these little plastic cheapy things, it was ridiculous.
You could still keep the what behind the scenes, you just change it a little bit, you know? Like, keep Stormwind there and then have it like a vendor or something like that. Then the auction house for the pets and everything like that. Like, change it up a little bit. Don't let it be the Darkmoon Fair every year. Even though you're still going to make a butt ton of money no matter what it is.
That definitely caught my eye, too, when I saw, like, the opening gate for the Darkmoon Fair. I was like, I need someone. I was walking around by myself. I wanted someone to take a picture of me under it. I was so excited.
And then there was no one?
No.
Where was I? I was somewhere. I was stuck.
We didn't get a chance to connect like that. So you were there to take my pictures with all the beautiful girls in costumes, but my phone died.
I had your back. I was there when it counted, you know?
I know.
No, but somehow I have all the picture of you with the girls in the cosplay on my phone.
Well, there should have been more.
You had to ask for days. I mean, you're really...
Well, next year they'll be asking me for photos.
I like to be a good wingman, right? I don't want to be a cockblock. I don't want anybody to assume that I'm with any of the guys that I'm with because I want them to be able to get it in and get their dates and stuff. So I try to be a really, really good wingman and not block whatever the kids are calling it these days. The crazy kids. I don't watch Jersey Shore anymore, so I feel like I'm not really
T-shirt time.
So, is it Weta? Please don't make fun of me because I don't know how to say stuff. But they've got a new line of movie replicas from the movie. It's pretty fucking.
Are you looking at those little?
Yeah, I got Doomhammer and King Lane's sword. I'll put the link for you guys in the show notes in the show comments so that you guys can see it. It's pretty legit. Yeah, it's pretty fucking amazing.
I like the Orc Tooth pendant just because I would.
Yeah, and those pins, like they got a lot of cool stuff.
$85.
I mean, I'll give you.
$250.
American.
Yeah, American. That's right. Well, that's all there is.
I got you a
There's
dollar.
America. And
Hey,
there's
but I was
everybody
just
else.
bitching that we never get the cool stuff. That China gets it all right. Here we go. They answered my prayers. They must have
You
watched the
just
show.
gotta ask. You just gotta ask.
Ask and you shall be getting shit. This is why nobody invites us to anywhere fun. Herbalism. Lots of changes coming our way for herbalism. You're going to have the ability to be able to summon foxes. You're going to be getting buffs from your herbalism. They're doing herbalism in ranks, right? Ranks 1, 2, and 3. These ranks, you get different things. Dreamleaf, which I'm kind of annoyed that the icon looks just like the other old shit. I'd like to see some new icons, please. I was going to go through all of this, but this is a lot to go for herbing. Nobody really cares about all that. But if you're interested, Wowhead's got a thing about it. I'm pretty sure PDQ covered it as well. But you're going to have different ranks. So these different ranks of your herbalism is going to allow you more buffs and more specific things that you can do according to your rank. So it's more than just you maxing out on your skill and going through and doing stuff. Looks like they're going to start giving, there's a lot of quest lines that are for herbalism too, hoping they'll maybe do that with mining nodes as well. But I think it's going to be nice, instead of just going and doing your random shit, you actually get to have a purpose, I guess, would be the purpose for it. So
Well, I have to give him something. Who the heck gathers anymore?
your fox, a level 3 perk, you get the fox flower, and the fox flower summons a friendly fox that goes alongside you, and it lets you pick faster. You can mount quicker after picking. Like, there's a lot of good things that you get for being different ranks. I think that's pretty legit, and I think maybe that's where the fox comes from. Remember, we had talked about the fox being data mined, but we weren't really sure what it is, but it looks like that's what it's for.
Does it say anything?
I'm sure it does if I would have wrote that part down, but you know how I do. I'm really, I didn't really write that down. So that was basically the meat and potatoes of the news. I know that last week we talked about getting back to good with our segments and bringing you guys all the stuff that we're used to. So the guys have prepared stuff this week, so imagine that. It's not just going to be me talking all the time. I think we're going to start with, we still haven't named Lycan's lore segment yet. We're trying to come up with something really cool and not normal, so...
I'm not normal.
Lycan's lore?
Lycan's big booty hose was taken, so we can't do that one.
Don't tell the wife.
I know, she's going to be devastated because she wanted it as well. But I promise not to interrupt you. I'm going to let you. He's going to be talking about the Guardians of Tirisfal, which is pretty. I want to say we talked about this previously, right? Regarding Atsiesh and all that. Are you going to go in depth?
The last time I talked about the Guardians, we really went into the last Guardian the last known canonical Guardian, the one that's canon, which was Medivh. This kind of gives us a broader aspect of who they all are. Now, for those who don't know, there is a council out there called the Council of the Tirisfal, or Council of the Tirisfallen. And the council was originally organized and contained only human gnomes and high elves. They were the mages, and they were selected to guard Azeroth from demonic corruption of the Burning Legion. These guardians were given huge power and a long lifespan. And now this helped them to be able to, train complex spells and wards. And really what the order did, the order was kept a complete secret pretty much from everybody on Azeroth, except for those in high positions of power or on the council itself. As with most, though, absolute power corrupts absolutely, and the Guardian became more of a puppet than a protector. These were the council started using it for political leverage. If you want us to go and battle this invasion of demons or help protect your city in particular, grease our palms a little bit and we'll send them your way. So we're going to get a little bit further into that when it comes to Agewind, but there have been 5 Guardians that we have. Now, however, only 4 are canon. And for those who don't know, again, canon means those are the only ones that have been written into the World of Warcraft game.
What was that term again? What did you say? Canon.
Yeah, like boom, canon, but spelled differently.
Okay.
Now, Elodie was the first Guardian. He was a half-elven mage. His staff actually had been stored away by the current tour because they were afraid that an inexperienced mage may not be able to wield it properly and would cause untold damage with it. This staff is actually what is granted to the Frost Mages in Legion, and it's a beautiful staff. It's very powerful. Now, as a matter of fact, when the Frost Mages go to get this staff itself, they get helped by Elodie, which is the first Guardian. He makes a comeback in some way or form. Now, he's presumably dead. The other one they're going to get help from is Meryl Winterstorm, also goes by the name of Meryl Fellstorm, which we'll get into again later in the story. That is the only original member of the council that is still, how do I want to say, he's still around. Meryl Fellstorm is actually an undead, but he is not forsaken. So he's not like under Sylvanas. He was not dead and came back to life. The guy, by sheer magical force, has been able to keep himself alive for close to, 3,000 years? And this is just by sheer magical force. So he's the only surviving member of the original council. The council story we're going to get a little bit further into next week, only because that's going to deal with some of the other council members that are currently sitting on it that you wouldn't believe, that you wouldn't know. Before it was just, like I said, humans, gnomes, and High Elven. Now we've gotten both Horde and Alliance factions on the Council of the Tirisfal. The second Guardian we come across was a human by the name of Scabell. Now, not really as much known about Scabell, except that he had served the Council for about 800 years. Now, he had 5 apprentices that wanted to try out for the one position for the next Guardian. They were Falric, which is not the, the dwarf that's in Heroes of the Storm, not the same Falric. He was the smartest. There was Jonas, which is the most powerful.
That's the youngest Jonas brother, yes?
Yeah, not one of the brothers. There was Manfred, which was the most creative. He would have come up with the most creative spells. There is Natalie. Now, she actually had a fear of demons, and she wanted to be a guardian of Tirisfal, which kind of is funny. But she was very super effective against the undead. And then lastly, there was Aegwin. Now, Aegwin had mastered what were called the Mitre spells in her first year of apprenticeship. These spells were only given to be like the most powerful spells in existence. They were only given to the most well-versed mages out there. There are only 2 that we know of currently that have mastered them. One was Aegwin, which the only reason I say 2 currently is because Aegwin was around at the beginning of World of Warcraft. There was Aegwin who mastered them, and also Jaina. Unfortunately, the scrolls themselves, they were completely destroyed in the bombing of Theramore. So nobody else is going to be able to master the spells because they're just not in existence anymore. The third Guardian we come across is Aegwin herself. Now, Aegwin is known as the Vanquisher, I say that in quotation marks, of Sargeras. She was probably one of the most powerful mages that ever existed, and she was actually a guardian for over 1,000 years. She wielded a powerful staff called a Luneth, which is the great staff of the Magna. This is the arcane mage weapon that we're going to get in Legion. She was not the Council's favorite by any means. For centuries, the Council had used, again, the Guardians as their puppets to do the political work. Basically, Aegwin said, ain't nobody got time for that. And she was unhappy with the way the Guardians were being used as political pawns. She refused to do their bidding. So what she did, this is one of the funniest stories I think I've read in Warcraft, is that she wanted to go out and procreate the next Guardian. She wanted to make sure that the next Guardian was not picked by the typical process. She chose a conjurer by the name of Nihilus Aran. Now, poor Nihilus. Aegwin wined and dined him to fall in love with her.
That's my kind of girl. Take charge of her own future. Fuck.
And
I'm waiting for Mr. Right. Get Mr. Right now.
Well, and that's the thing. As you read the story, they go back to Stormwind. They get it on one night. She gets up in the morning. Nihilus goes to make her breakfast, and she goes, "Nope, I've got what I come for." And she goes to walk out the door, and he goes, "But I thought we were in love." And she looks at him and says, "Come on, you knew I couldn't be in love with you." And just walks out the door, and that was the end of it. Of course, he wanted the relationship to go on, but that wasn't going to happen. She later bore a son and named him Mediv, which means the keeper of secrets, in Thalassian, which I believe is the High Elven, and I believe the Blood Elves are the ones that speak that. Now, he became the fourth guardian. Now, when Medivh was born, she was afraid that Medivh was going to be attacked, that they were going to go after him. So she actually left him with Neelis as an infant. Aegwynn had locked away the powers of the council in the young boy, only to be awakened up when he hit puberty. When that time came, the immense amount of energy that was locked up inside him came pouring out. So basically, he woke up one morning, he exploded in energy, killed Neelis Aran, poor guy was standing there, killed him instantly, and left the kid comatose for, I want to say, it was over 17 years that Medivh actually laid in a coma. During this time, they think what happened, and it never really goes into in the story, they think that Sargeras and Medivh had a battle of the minds to take control of the body. Now, rumor has it that when Aegwynn vanquished the Avatar of Sargeras, because that's all she fought, not one single mortal, except for Broxigar, has ever damaged Sargeras himself. So the spirit had left the Avatar of Sargeras, entered into Aegwynn, and possessed Medivh as a fetus. And it goes back to that whole fetal possession stuff again. As Aegwynn walked towards the battle, they said she floated real lightly upon the snow. After the battle, she sunk right down to her knees. Medivh eventually made pacts with the Burning Legion. He's the one that brought the orcs into Azeroth, contrary to what the story says, the movie. He took on actually young Khadgar as an apprentice as well. Khadgar was instrumental in breaking that mind link between Medivh and Ner'zhul, that they were doing this mental battle in Karazhan at the end. This attack was obviously successful, but it caused Khadgar to age unexpectedly. Medivh regained control of his mind and body, but lost his life in the battle in Karazhan at the hands of Khadgar himself. Khadgar had taken a knife, being held back with his lifelong friend, or Medivh was being held back by his lifelong friend Lothar, which was the king of Sorman, and Garona, which was actually his lover. And yes, that Garona, and yes, they were lovers. Now, none of this next part, though, comes into World of Warcraft. This only happens in the comics, and only happens in the manga. That finally, there's Medan. Now, Medan was the love child of Medivh and Garona Half-Orcan. The major reason I bring this non-canon character up is because he was the first and only guardian under the new Council of Tirisfal. Meryl Winterstorm, which we've learned about, who was one of the original guardians, or original council members, and Aegwynn thought it was time to restart the council. Meryl Winterstorm, after the death of Aegwynn, renamed himself Meryl Fellstorm. If you read the comics, it gets into it, but it's really not important. Just know that his name has changed, and that he went into exile with Garona Half-Orcan to get rid of the Twilight Hammers plan, which was the one that dealt with Cho'Gall. And, you know, we actually saw rumors of Garona in Twilight Highlands as well. Never saw Meryl, though. So with those two, nobody has seen them or Medan, or Meryl or Medan. Now, some, including myself, believe that Medan has stepped down, because we've seen Atiesh on Khadgar, on Draenor, which is the staff of Medivh.
Now, you've always said that the person who holds that staff is the guardian, right?
Right, because that was Medivh's, well, not all of them, but that was Medivh's staff. And then it also became Medan's whenever he took over the guardianship.
So anybody that's ran shit, they're the ones that have had that staff, so it only makes logical deduction would be, remember you had theorized even, I think, before Draenor had even came out, when we had seen screen caps and we had seen some gameplay of him having, it might have been even the pre-expansion event, where you had seen he had Atiesh, you had talked about you thinking that he is the new guardian because he's carrying that.
Yep, and that's what I was just going to
Maybe he stole it because he's selfish.
Well, there's some believe that the new council has yet to choose a new successor.
So he's just kind of holding it.
We see that it's gone, but I honestly believe that one has already been made. And I made this just for tonight.
I'm scared.
Got the tinfoil hat on.
Oh, that looks like a tinfoil.
Yarmulke.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
I didn't have a really big thing of tinfoil, so this is the best tinfoil.
In Back to the Future, Griff.
You're looking good.
What's his name? Biff?
Yeah, Biff.
That was shinier.
Doesn't he wear that type of helmet? Biff does?
It's so that the aliens can't read. So Blizzard can't read my thoughts. because I still think they're stealing stuff off
Unless
me.
you watched X-Files. Ha!
That's right.
X-Files.
So there are several things that point me towards this new Guardian already being made, right? Like you were saying, I believe that Khadgar is the new Guardian. And again, there are several reasons to it. We have seen it with that, yes. When we actually did the invasion, the original invasion in Tanan, we see him able to wield frost, fire, and arcane magics, but we see him doing it at the same time. Because whenever he goes to blow up the dam, he throws a frost orb, an arcane orb, and a fire orb all at the same time. They'll sit there before they combine and destroy the dam. I don't know too many mages that can do all three spells at the exact same time and have them blow up. We complain that they're OP to begin with. That would be absolutely ridiculous. But we also see him in Raven form. Now, the only other person ever known to be used Raven form was Medivh. Now, it's not specifically a Guardian thing, but it kind of leads off into the next step. Whom better to fight off the incoming Legion invasion than Medivh himself? What I think it is, I think Khadgar is being possessed by Medivh. And I don't think it's a forced possession. I think it's kind of a cohabitation of sorts. I believe in order for this to occur, Medan willfully gave up the power to Khadgar so that it could be used by Medivh and Khadgar at the same time. Now, again, this is entirely speculative. And I know for a fact that we see Khadgar taking a prominent role when it comes to the current tour. So they would trust him, and it would be a way to unify the current tour with the Guardian. Medivh himself was very leery of the current tour. He was afraid that they were going to try to steal his words and his spells that he had made himself and that were passed down by the guardianship. So he never took on an apprentice before except for Khadgar. Khadgar earned his respect and earned that right to be the apprentice. Being that he came from the current tour, I think what better way than to unite two of the most magical forces in the game, which is the current tour and the guardianship. So I think we'll see more as that as Legion falls, but those are our current 4 or 5, depending if you consider the comics to be canon or not, Guardians that we have. Next week, I'd like to get into the Council, which should not be as long, but there are numerous members of the Council, some that you've heard and some that you wouldn't believe that are actually sitting on the new Council of Tirisfal. And the actual name of why Tirisfal is called that, we hear that as Tirisfal Glades is one of the starting zones for the undead, the Forsaken. We'll find out why that all ties together.
Man, I just want to tell you that was awesome. We did miss the only reason I know anything is because of your lore segment. So if you don't tell me, I don't know. That was pretty awesome. And also, I just want to add a small mention in there. Ben Foster's the one that plays Medivh in the Warcraft movie, and Ben Foster's hot. So I'm happy about that. Probably not the important thing to note out of all that, but I just wanted to let everybody know to make sure I'm not being watched, my stance on that subject. Man, I still want to know. I think he's the boss, and they don't want anybody to know. I think it's going to be like a surprise.
Well, we know Khadgar has taken, and I'm only going to say a prominent role with current tour. I'm not going to go yet into what role that is, but he is stepping up. And we see him. I understand he's a war hero. I understand he led the invasion of Draenor. But for them to turn around and hand him some of the things that they do and tell him he's in charge of it, I'm not completely sold that it's him by himself.
I agree. Hots has got the hardcore casual. He's been doing things, but he's got some. I don't know if we tease him a lot, and maybe that's making him. I don't know, but he's got some stuff. What are you going to talk about this week on your hardcore casual, Hots?
I'm going to talk about why to chase the numbers.
Are you admitting to it?
No,
Is that like Chase and Tail? Is that the same?
In a sense. I was sitting through most of y'all should know that I'm still in college, and So I was listening to one of my professors, and it's talking about programming, and he was like, most of the time, whenever I write a program, and I need to do a certain thing, I go in and I copy something that's worked for someone else, and I throw it in my program, and I just tweak it a little bit to make it do what I need to do. I don't need to know why it works, I just know that it works. So I was like, that kind of makes a lot of sense, and this was talked about shortly after Lycan was teasing me about chasing the numbers. So I kind of started playing both sides of the story in my head, and I was like, well, there's certain ways things can be done, there's certain other ways that things can be done, but why do it specific ways? So the first thing is, it has been proven to work. I don't care what, I know why it works, I know there's other ways that it could be done, but I know this way works in particular, and we are, in my case, I was getting teased, or Lycan was talking about chasing the numbers of having 2 DKs for 2 different fights in Mythic. Those 2 DKs make that fight ridiculously easier compared to not having said 2 DKs. It doesn't have to be 2 Blood DKs or 2 Frost DKs or 2 Unholy DKs. It just needs to be 2 DKs in general, because the main reason you need said DKs are for Gorfien's Grasp. The other side to it is, if you don't chase the numbers and you do your own thing, there's bragging rights to it, but we're not there for the bragging rights of, we did it not the conventional way. We did it, and that's all that matters. Most of the time, whenever a team goes to, whenever you're putting together a raid team to start with, you're going to put together things that you know that you're going to need for the comp later on in the fights anyways. And even then, so you're going to have a generalization. You're not going to go in there with, 3 Disc Priests, because Disc Priests are the only healers you can't stack in the group. You need 1, maybe 2, if they can work well together. You don't want to... That's just one of the classes you definitely don't ever really want to stack. But having 2 Warlocks, for instance, for 2 Demonic Gateways...
I'm in. I don't know what we're talking about, but you said the word Warlock, I'm in.
Well, I mean, if you have 2 Warlocks, you have 2 Demonic Gateways. You can only use one every 2 minutes.
No, but it's good for opposite sides of the room, like Kilrog. We use it for the Heartseeker.
Exactly. So you have one for, say, Kilrog. You have... Whenever they're stacked on both sides, both of them are pointing to the middle. We'll say for Zol, you have one for melee to put their fire in one spot. You have one for range to put their fire in another spot. Or one for left for green, one for right for purple.
All those affliction dots too?
I mean, yeah, affliction's good for single target, but Destro is better for AoE, which is still blowing my mind, because normally dots win AoEs.
It's fire and brimstone, man.
Yeah, I got to playing around with my Warlock, but so it's not that we know that certain things can't be done or can be done without certain classes, but there are certain things that can be done with only certain classes. Mythic, or even normal or heroic, Cormrock. You don't really want a class like a Boomkin or a Priest who has one CD that's really good for and a really big amount of damage reduction, but you don't want said Priest to be running around every time that the runes spawn and taking 90% of their health. Why not have a rogue or a hunter who can run around and hit those runes with deterrence up, or like Cloak of Shadows or Feint even? There's certain ways that you handle certain mechanics. It doesn't have to always be a DK or a rogue or a hunter, but you have to have something to balance that, because in Mythic there is no oh well, I can kill this really quick. It's what can kill it the fastest. And all right, now I have one thing that's killing this thing the fastest. Now I need something that can balance that and continue DPS on this. If you have a burst warrior, like a fury warrior, that can do really, really good burst AoE damage, you don't really want to rely on a boomkin to do steady AoE damage if everything's going to die in 2 seconds. So why not have a good frost mage who can burst single target? And that way, if one ad spawns, the frost mage swaps to it, burns it down really quick, it's good. If it's 6 ads that are spawning, have a fury warrior. Everything burns really quickly. There's certain classes that are best for everything, and that's where chasing the numbers comes in, because you don't want to rely on a shadow priest to do the most burst damage, because they have very, very limited and very controlled burst. It's not procs constantly. It's not, they don't have a constant 2-minute cooldown. That they would normally use.
It's not like that insane mage burst that they can do at the beginning of a fight.
Yeah, it's like if they come in with 5 shadow orbs and they pull with Twisted Fate up or whatever it's called, like, yeah, they can do it, but if you're wiping, like you're doing progression fights, your Shadow Priest isn't going to have 5 orbs at the start of every fight, nor are they going to come in with, you're not chain pulling stuff, because you're not going to be going, oh, well, all right, we just cleared trash, let's go straight into the boss fight, so now I have my buff up. So there's certain reasons that you want to look at doing certain things, and it's not always the best idea to quote unquote chase the numbers, because sometimes you really don't have to. Like, if you don't understand why the threes team, a warrior, a druid, and an enhancement shaman are the top or considered the best amongst the top of the PvP, then it's not gonna work out as well as someone who, if you know your Mistweaver really well, and you know your Frost DK really well, and you know your Destro Warlock really well.
Talking to us.
Yeah, I am. If y'all came in there, if Belle made a warrior, Lycan made a Mistweaver, and Jim over here made a Destro Lock, you're gonna be running around with you don't know that class like the back of your hands. So if you play your main and you have people who play your mains, generally you'll do a lot better than doing what's chasing the numbers. But you want to do it with what you have and what you're going for. If you're going for casual PvP play, you don't have to do chasing the numbers. If you're going for 3K rating, you're probably going to want to chase the numbers. But we'll go with what Belle has talked about a lot of the time.
All of a sudden, talking points are important, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
It's because I have them over here. I use them as a crutch.
Talking points are important, right?
No, because I have them over here. I have them as a crutch. I'm now like, where was I?
Vindicated.
Are we on break?
No, we're not.
We don't break here. No break.
I'm
No
going to
break.
calling him out openly about his fucking 5-word show notes.
I was perfectly fine until she's like, you need more. And then I was like, all right, well, I'm going to be trying to read off of those.
You tell the truth. That's not what I said.
I read off of mine. I did perfectly fine.
Yours was like, everything you said was in the show notes.
And?
I don't like
But
that.
go ahead. Go back to your notes.
Right,
Use your crutch.
So what we've been talking about and what has been brought up the most is best in slot gear, best in slot talents, best in slot abilities, your perfect rotation, this, that, the other. The reason that those, in a PvE aspect, those have been proven by running a program called SimCraft. They've been running like a million iterations of this, if not more, wearing every single piece of gear that you can have, wearing every trinket, having so many procs for different types of fights. And yes, it's not going to be guaranteed, because no, it is not always accurate, because they can't say, all right, well, you're a warlock, you go run this fight, what is going to be the best for it? But they can give you a good general aspect for it, and it comes down to you at that point. All right, well, we'll say Archimon. There's ads that spawn, but for the most part, they don't last that long. Would you consider that an AoE fight, or would you consider that a single target fight? Well, it depends. What are you going to be doing the most? Are you going to be killing the ads the most as soon as they spawn? Do you want them dead, or do you want Archimon to die? Well, COP priests are going to be really good at single target damage on Archimon. The AS priests are going to be really good for dotting the dogs up and just letting them rot, along with Boomkins, along with Destrolocks, apparently. You know, it's you have to think about what your raid team is missing. For PvP, the reason that people use said talents are because they're what works best in most situations. They might not be the best. Like, a Mistweaver Monk isn't going to want to use Dispel Harm whenever they're not going to be, or Dispel Magic whenever they're going against two, like a melee, or a warrior and a rogue. There's going to be absolutely no use for it. You're not going to want to use Glyph of Root and Eruption whenever you're not going against a caster, or you're not going to be sitting on the healer enough to actually proc it, or you just so happen to randomly queue into 3 DPS that has no caster, which has been done. But it's the different level of gameplays that you want to strive for. So don't go assuming that you have to chase the numbers. Do what's best for you. There's certain talents whenever you're learning classes. There's certain talents that are passive. I can guarantee you'll do better while you're learning the DPS rotations, or you're learning how to heal, by using passive talents, because that's just one less button that you'll have to learn. And whenever you start getting a feel for it, like, all right, well, I got my Renewing Mist up, I've got my thing go, or I got my channel going, I keep my statue down all the time. All right, now let's work in, fist weaving, so to say. So you go into the talent that's better for fist weaving. Don't automatically assume that just because it pulls so much DPS or so many heals per second, or this Warlock King can survive forever because he's using this talent, that the other talents can't quote unquote do that. It's the level of which you can use said talents. So that's my little spill on it. I'm going to keep it a little bit on the shorter side because we just had a good 45-minute lore section, but that's
wow,
but
what a dick.
That would be, to me, why you would want to chase the numbers, and why some of you won't necessarily want to chase the numbers.
I just want to chase the tacos.
Do you know what I heard that entire time?
Blah,
Blah, blah, blah. Liking is right. Nope, liking is right.
I just want to chase the tacos. If we can make that a thing.
Do I need to get you one of those tacos on a stick and see when you're running on the treadmill at the gym?
Jim, did you want to talk about some pet battle stuff?
Yeah, we can absolutely do that. First, though, I mean, I don't think I can follow up. Yeah, I don't think I could follow up those two segments. Before we do pet battles, we don't have to do a petition, but as a community, we need to come together and create a forum and let Blizzard know what's in our hearts, right? They usually listen to us. Let's let them know. It's too expensive right now to transfer our characters. We need a half-off deal. Come on, Blizzard.
And you talked about switching from you're switching factions too.
Yes, 30 Canadian.
I agree.
Jeez,
Can we get it cheaper? I think it should be cheaper. It takes them 2 seconds to click a button and do the thing. I do think that it should be. I think all things should be $10 across the board.
Yeah, let's have a sale. Or I'd never go to the forums. If you guys are watching, maybe make that forum, put it in the comments. We'll click the link and I'll post it everywhere where we can just get more people to do it because we need a sale. It's got to be
brought to you by Jim is broke as fuck.
Yeah, it's 30 Canadian. It's too expensive. I want to bring 1 or 2 characters to the Alliance Guild. So, but pet battles, yes, guys. I'm just gonna talk about my channel basically. If you are, whether
That's
you're
not
new,
allowed.
yeah, we're not allowed. Oh.
No, he's kidding.
Okay. So basically, I make videos for not just your people that are already into pet battles, of course, the beginners as well. So whether you're looking to beat a specific trainer, you need help you have no idea what to use for PvP pet battles, just come to the channel, YouTube Warcraft Pet Battles, and ask a question, or some of the videos will already be helpful. I always respond. Like Lycan's a veteran. I was able to discuss PvP pet battles with him, and he was able to work it into his repertoire. So even, whether you've already done the pet battles or you have no idea where to start, please come to the channel. Very close to 5,000 subscribers. And even if you don't want to do it because of that, we do giveaways, so just come for the giveaway. We're very gimmicky like that. So stop by, ask a question, please. Thank you, and we'll definitely help you out.
That was it.
That's it. I don't know. Well, I mean, I thought the petition was good. Most of my stuff is for my week in WoW. Can you
go over your entire schedule and strategy for the Celestial Tournament?
Yeah, okay, so you should... No, I'm joking.
I'm over
actually
that tournament.
So I'm actually very happy for the Alpha. Seems to be a new tournament that's going to show up, but for instance, like the Celestial Tournament, we need another one of those, and it's very frustrating. Like Lycan said, I think it was last week or another episode, he leveled up a number of companion pets just to figure out how to beat this boss. I did the same thing, and then those pets weren't even the right ones, so I'd look at different strategies, and I basically want to save some time. It's very rewarding to find your own strategy, sure, but it's also more rewarding getting it done and saving yourself as much time as possible so you can go back to actual PvP or raiding with your guild. So we've got the Celestial Tournament covered. Yeah, I was so frustrated because I was just getting into YouTube then, and I was trying to record strategies for the Celestial Tournament, and I was failing so hard. Like that Chi-Chi bird, I couldn't believe it. It was so hard. And then I found out you just needed 2 snails. I'm like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yep.
So I use 2 snails, I'm more creative with it now. So a lot of people for PvP pet battles, they don't do it because they get destroyed the first couple battles and they just don't want to do it again, or you just honestly have no idea what pets to use. Yeah, Belle might be one of them. I
did 4 and was like, fuck you, I'm done. You even gave me a good comp, too. I didn't remember it at the time, so I just picked some random shit, and it was a bad time.
Yeah, it's not even the comp, too. It's just like an individual pet that's good for one-on-one scenarios, and like I've got a list of so many of them. So again, just questions. Even a lot of people I've heard say, it's a pay-to-win. You have to get the pets from the Blizzard store. That's 100% not true. All of our guides on the channel, we separate ourselves from the other channels by showing you more than one way to defeat that trainer. So we'll always start off with the easier to get pets, probably ones you catch in the wild. You destroy the trainer, power level pets, and get what you want to do. Even people when they're leveling up their first pet, I know we've got stones now where you get an instant max level pet, but I always told people to pick their Pikachu, level your Pikachu up as fast as possible, because people are spending so much time going, I'm going to have 3 pets and this will be my team at level 25. No, get that out of your head, because there's so many different pets and so many different, pets to use and teams to use. You're not going to use those original 3 you thought that you were going to use for PvP pet battles. And now I'll show you ways to power level your pets from 1 to 25 in 10 minutes. So you don't have to spend all this time. You just got to get that first level 25. And those are some of the questions that I'd be more than happy to answer. I get all kinds of beginner questions and, veteran questions. So please come by YouTube, Warcraft Pet Battles. Drop us a comment. We'll always respond. Yeah.
That was a lot.
Yeah, I think we're pretty good for
I think that was good. That was better than Hatsa shit, and he does this every week. I'm a little disappointed in my man over there.
Well, once I heard about the notes thing, I was like, I had to get some notes down. Because even last episode that I was on, they're like, what's your week in WoW? And I'm like, I
sat there. That's what I did. I didn't do anything else. Speaking of Week in WoW, let's talk about Week in WoW. What'd you do this week?
Didn't get Handmaiden again this year for a week. Didn't get the Ultraxian mount. Didn't get Invincible. Pretty much that's it. I've been logging in doing my dailies, my Argent Dawn or Argent Crusade tournament stuff, and it's the grind before the end of the expansion. Trying to get all my pets leveled up, trying to get all my little things done, my achievements I haven't done. I have to go through and do all the panda ones that I missed, but
I bet you have more pets leveled up than me, actually.
I want to say the last time I checked, I'm at 300 and some at level 25, and I want to say 85% of them are at least rare.
Yeah, I think you got me.
Awesome.
Yeah, really that's it. Diablo. I've been really hooked
Nobody
on.
wants to hear about Diablo.
Been hooked on Diablo. I've been playing a little bit of HOTS. I've been playing a little bit of Hearthstone. And
You played HOTS after the Graves?
I went in once and
Whoa.
I played it. I never said I played it long, but I played at least one battle. I'm like, okay, no, this. I was bored, and then I went back to Hearthstone and been doing tavern brawls and that, and just doing the dailies on that as well. But anything to keep me busy at the end of the expansion,
Nice. Pops, what about you? What did you do this week?
Well, I can finally announce that we got Mythic Manaroth down. Very excited, very excited.
Be happy.
Oh, I was extremely happy. I was streaming it, so I was actually went back and watched the kill, and I almost fell out of my chair because I was like, yes! After he died. So now we get to start working on some Mythic Archimon, and I'm back on my Boomkin for it. So
Can't wait to not do it.
yeah. We've been discussing some plans for after we get Archimon down. Like, are we gonna sell carries? Are we gonna do alt runs? Are we gonna, go on and do so on and so forth? And it's overall it's pretty exciting. We're about to start recruiting again, and not necessarily Mythic people who are experienced Mythic already, but people to go into Legion to, or Legion with, so to say. Other than that, just been grinding, doing my weeklies, like I said, D3, but no one wants to hear about D3.
No one wants to hear about D3 on a Warcraft podcast.
Exactly, but yeah, it's gonna be a really fun. Oh, we killed Manaroth in 221 wipes. I think was our
After the third one, I'm like, deuces. I'm going to watch Netflix. Bye.
We're trying to work out some issues that would soft.
Well, no, but I think that's typical for progression. I think.
Yeah, roughly, yeah. But ours, we could have had this down about last week or about our last raid day. But we're having people come in and go too often, like. People having to leave for school, leave for this, leave for that, and swapping in and out. So we're trying to. It's not necessarily their fault. Yeah. It's just on a fight like that, it takes a lot of face time, and you have to. If you're swapping people in and out, and there's some people that are getting more face time than others, then it happens. But now we get to do Archimon, and I'm already kind of face testing with the amount of mechanics that are just in phase 1. So
you love that shit. Stop acting like
Oh, no, I do love it. Don't get me wrong. It's amazing. But I'm that's what I'll be streaming from now on too. So Sundays and Wednesdays will be Archimon progression until we get them down. So if you want to come see that, come check it out, or come see some pet battles and like it.
Not because it's going to be you. I don't want to sit there and.
Painful.
I'm tuning in.
Jim, what did you?
A little highlight clip.
Jim, what did you do this week?
So much. So I did so much. A lot of soul seeking, actually. I know it's been 2 weeks from episode 90 to 92, but so much has come from it. I went from Jim to Jimmabanks. I feel I've really found myself. But for what I did in WoW this week. So productive. 4 YouTube videos in 6 days. I tried to do 2 articles today for Pwnecast, but for in-game, we did, a lot of arena, trying to catch up. Salute to my RBG leader. We're going to get that rolling, so we want to make sure we're good. Shout out to Una, Rentar, Buttercup, and everyone else. So close to my trainer title. I'm 25 wins away from 1,000 PvP wins. So that's really exciting for me, I guess.
We're gonna have to pump up the jam.
Yeah, I am. Don't worry. I create enough hype for myself.
I don't need anybody to be excited.
Yeah, I'm my number one fan for sure.
Nice.
And then we've been doing, and by we I mean me, a lot of PvP on my Panda Warrior, which is cool. I've never done max level warrior stuff, and my Panda and Warrior is so much fun. Feel like undergeared. I'm seeing big numbers.
Is that a baby rattle?
No, that was my dog.
Oh, okay. I'm like, does he have a baby? I need to know. Jim, do you got a baby in your closet?
If you go into Ashran as a panda warrior, I'm pretty sure you'll make a lot of people really happy.
It's true.
Well, I messaged Bloke, and he said, I said, is this any help to you or can it be? He said, no, not really. He's got a plan in motion, though. So shout out to Bloke and, his plan. I hope it works out for him because I know he wants to kill himself. So we need him around. So yeah, a bunch of pet battle stuff, YouTube stuff, PvP stuff, and...
Nice.
What about you, Belle? Did you do anything in WoW?
Nobody's ever said that before. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, here we go.
Nobody's ever.
Yeah, you're setting a precedent, man.
You all
Come on.
suck. Literally, nobody else gives a shit about my week in WoW except you guys that are listening and watching because you guys care. So
Well,
my week.
Thank
you for asking.
Anytime.
Jim,
You made her blush.
He's a hell of a guy, this
You're
guy
blushing.
right here. He's fucking
Canadians are polite.
I know
Hey.
he really is polite in real life too, and I feel bad because I'm an asshole. So when we were rolling together at the con, he's super nice and polite, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like literally, that was how it was going.
Yeah.
So Dash, I want to give a shout out to Dash. She's my adorable English gal. She's from the Avengers. She does. She's one of the. I think she's considered an officer. She is one of the leads. She's amazing. She's adorable. Literally, she's adorable. If I wasn't married, I'd hit on her every day. I still might anyway, just because why the fuck not, right? But she came and joined the writers' ranks on her little baby mage, and I love it. That a high up Avengers came to chill, and she comes and she zooms and chills with us, and it's pretty legit. So I wanted to give a shout out to her and welcome her to the guild. We also did have a couple other arrivals from the podcast that came to see us this week, and I thought I was being trolled by one of them. Soul, you know who you are, SOL. He messaged, it might be a female, not sure, messaged and said they were a big fan, and I'm like, are you trolling? Because I always assume when people message, saying they're from a podcast listener that they are trolling, and they're never trolling, and I feel bad every time. I know. Fuck off. I also wanted to talk about a funny thing that happened. So for those of you who know me, which is pretty much everybody, I am Alliance all the way. We do have a Horde guild at the request of my Alliance guildies for them to have a writer's presence home, a Horde side on Argent Dawns, and the Horde guild is called the Eye of Sauron. So I realized after having this Horde guild for almost 2 years now that I should probably not have a level 27 tune. So I got Miguel, my buddy Miguel, he got me the digital deluxe version of Legion. He bought me the digital deluxe version of Legion, so I used the boost Horde side, right? Because it's a warlock. I don't need to, I can do all the questing and all that later. So before I buy the boost, though, I'm level 27, I hitch a ride to Pandaland so I could get the room with all the ports.
Mm-hmm.
Minding my own business, heading into the port room, and all of a sudden I'm attacked by a Northwind Hawk in the Shrine of Two Moons, and I'm like, it one-shots me, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm on Zoom, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, I just got killed by a fucking bird. What just happened? So I res, I go back, and boom, Northwind Hawk again. And I'm like, where's this fucking bird? So the GM assist, the person who comes over, she's the GM assist. She takes care of all the Horde stuff because I don't play Horde. And she comes in there and she's like, dude, there is a bird in here killing you. And I'm like, I fucking know, man. I'm laying here bleeding. Googling. Miguel did some Googleizing and found out that is a thing. If you are not supposed to be in Pandaland at that level, that the Northwind Hawk in the shrine will kill you.
Oh.
That's
I just find that very ironic because the Eye of Sauron, big ass bird, killing people, whatever.
Yeah.
See, I never had that problem with the Alliance though. Because I
Well,
bring my Alliance
I
in there all the
tried
time.
to research. Blizzard never responded to this thread, this big long thread of people that are like, "Hey, this Northwind Hawk is coming along and fucking murking."
There's red birds all around, and the aggro radius is bigger.
Yep, it was in.
Whenever you're swarmed.
It killed me twice, and I was like, "Fuck this!" I kept trying to take the port to Orgrimmar because I was lost. Arguably, I don't know all the cities, so I was trying to get to Orgrimmar. I changed from a blood elf to a troll because I wanted to have a mohawk. I'm embracing the Horde culture, right? I wanted to have a mohawk if I'm going to do the things. So now, strictly, she's not going to raid. She's going to be strictly PvP. I went into Ashra and his horde, and every time I killed an alliance, I'm like, I'm so sorry, and I would say their name, like I would kill them, and I'd be like, oh, Joe, I'm so sorry I killed you, Joe. It was a tough time for me, but that's what I did this week. I focused on doing I did some DK things. I'm trying to learn how to melee. It's not really great. I'm not really good on the melee, but I do realize that the horde garrison sucks ass, right? It's ugly compared to the alliance stuff, and I'm not being rude to horde. I'm kind of talking shit on Blizzard because it looks very desolate. It's very
Horde, it's ugly.
Yeah, there's no.
I'll talk through the horde.
Can I get a roof? Can I get a fucking but it's interesting to see the difference being, there's a lot of not nice people on horde side also in the trade chats. So it's nice to see that it's an equal balance of assholes on alliance and horde. But that's pretty much what my week was all about. I prepared for the next Hungry Games. I did the reaping videos. I focused on all that. And unfortunately, now is the time where I lost this bet with Jeff. And because I lost this bet with Jeff, the bet was a weight loss challenge. I met all of my inch goals, but unfortunately, the weight loss goal that I set for myself was ridiculous. And, you can't lose 25 pounds in a month. That's just not feasible. So I did get close to my weight goal, guys, so you should know that this has helped me be healthy. I go to the gym 4 times a week now, and this has given me a new lease on life as far as not being a lazy gamer. So I am getting a lot healthier, and hopefully as the months to come, you should see me kind of suck in a little bit. I don't want to look,
If I suck in anymore, I'm dying.
Yeah,
I
don't want to be super skinny. I enjoy being curvy. That's how I am. I like to be curvy.
Me too.
I don't want to have muffin top, right? No girl wants muffin top. I just want to be toned. So the good news is this bet with Jeff did inspire me to be better and to do better. But I did lose because I didn't meet the weight loss portion. I only met the inch portion. I don't know how to do these balloons to get the helium because I have to sing I'm a Little Teapot with helium. So I saved it for the end because...
Is that why your kid was crying earlier?
Yeah,
I want the balloon, Mommy. I want the balloon.
My husband brings me the... I'm trying to get the lyrics so I don't screw this up. My husband does bring he brought me balloons, and the little guy sat on the couch, and he kept going... like to let me know, Mom, I'm sitting here. Can you give me a balloon? And I wouldn't let him have them. So I do have 2 balloons. Can one of you tell me how I'm going to be able to get the air out of this balloon without looking like a freaking retard?
Put a little bit, put a little bite in it, not too much. A little bite to let it leak out. And
this is awful.
This wasn't even in the show notes, guys. Let me tell you, I did not know this was happening tonight. I knew it was happening, but not tonight.
Can somebody get the music? Like, just the music?
Acapella. Girl, own it.
No, I want...
Acapella. I don't know where
awful.
to
Oh, I got it here.
You guys are going to see this live on the air. If you're not watching, you should probably go watch this.
I kind of want to go in there and watch it. Like, I know I can see it here, but I want to go in there.
Absolutely. If you guys are listening on iTunes, you need to come to the YouTube channel and subscribe. You got to witness the madness that is
you do miss
podcasts.
Okay.
You have to.
So, what am I supposed to do? I'd suck it, right?
Pop a little hole.
I need assistance.
This is all you're getting before you start. So you just shake your head whenever you're ready.
Is this working? Oh my god.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Bro.
You better
Ready?
go, because I don't know how long this is going to last.
It doesn't last very long. Okay, go.
I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle, here is my spout. Tip me over and pour me out. I don't know the rest of the lyrics, guys.
Just do it again. Do it again for the viewers.
One more time. One more again.
I don't know how this stuff doesn't last very long, so I have to keep
I'll pause it after the first 2 lines.
You can destroy one balloon and give your boy the other balloon. I think it's a win-win.
Ready? Oh, damn it. I'm sorry.
I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle, here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up.
When I get all steamed up, I just shout, tip me over and pour me out.
That needs to be a mini clip. So fans, if you're watching,
Hold on,
you
wait,
should comment that she needs to make that video itself.
Do another inhale and do the Eric Cohen impression.
I'm not doing the Eric Cohen.
Caca.
That was awesome. Do the Eric Cohen. Come on.
I
Just
can't.
once. Just once with the helium.
Just one more again. Just one more again.
You can edit it out.
Can you
I can't.
Do it.
So much eating.
You are now listening and or watching podcast. Can you do the intro? Do the intro
Jeff,
for
I
us.
hope you're amused by this bullshit because this is awful. Awful. All right, if you guys had the pleasure of listening to that awful singing, please make sure you watch it. I want you to know that I hate you, Jeff, with everything inside of me because that is awful. I feel like the second take was definitely better. Here's all that's left of my dreams is in this, and I do. Jim made a good point. I have another balloon to give to the boy, so I could have given it to him all along, but I didn't know how much helium was going to take.
Well, now you can go to him and say, "Good things come to those who wait." Here's your balloon.
See, you should not be a parent.
I thought that was good. What? No.
Yeah, you should not be a parent. So, I think that was a very successful episode. I made a fool of myself. If you guys are listening on iTunes or if you're listening on Google Play, make sure you guys do go check out the YouTube channel. You do miss a lot sometimes by not being able to visually see the fuckery that happens. Jim, I want to thank you for coming on again. We're happy
thanks
to
for
have
having
you.
me. I'm an elite company now, right? 2 episodes. Thank you again.
That's how permanency
appreciate it.
happens, right?
I
That's
like
how
it.
Adopted. So, Bloke, we're sorry we missed you. You're going to be sorry that you missed this. Independence Day, man. Yeah, so make sure you guys go to PwnecastDailyQuest.com and see what we got going on over there. Getting ready to expand out into some other games here. I'm going to be hiring the staff for it. Also, we do have the Pwnecast group now. So make sure you go to our page and check out, go get added to the group where you can openly banter and get to know everybody in there. But we are going to go ahead and get the hell on out of here because this is a pretty long episode. But we're going to get out of here. But before we do, this time, no, I'm not doing the Eric Cohen. This time I have some weird things.
Nice.
Carl T. Phineas. So if you guys are listening, it was my birthday. My birthday was, I think, Saturday. And,
Happy birthday.
Hots for Shots got me Carl T. Phineas from Phineas and Ferb. He got me a little guy. Carl T. Phineas is my alter ego name on any kind of chat or anything we do. It's Carl T. Phineas. He also got me Hawkeye. Hawkeye's not really the popular of the Avengers. He's kind of like he's like the fluffer of the Avengers, but he's an Avenger still and should be respected, right? So that's what I got. I wanted to show you that I actually have action figures too, fuckers. Isn't that cool?
Your obsession with fluffers are making me kind of concerned.
It was the first word I learned in the porn industry when I was 7 years old by a friend in high school. 17, I mean, not 7. That was weird. Yeah, somebody had said, I'm going to be a fluffer when I grow up. And I was, what the fuck are you talking about? I was 17 at the time. And then I found out what they do. And I was like, who says they want to be a fluffer? And their dad must be super proud. And it was a dude. You can believe it. Yeah, it was a man. Because they are not all women. There are male fluffers in the world. So let's unite. Fluffers of the world unite. That's probably what he's doing after the show. Look at his face. He's like, fuck
Is
you
it
guys.
because of me?
No.
Are you a fluffer? He don't go to school. He's lying to you.
I heard 7 and I was just like...
So I misspoke, my bad. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead and get the hell on out of here. We got shit to do. Thank you guys for joining us and giving us your hour every week. In this case, an hour and a half. I appreciate it. I also appreciate all the subscriptions, all the likes, and all the comments. Keep them coming. We love you guys. Bye. Fucking killed Jeff.